You have spent your entire life trusting your sense of time, but it is an illusion crafted by your brain. Richard Feynman showed that everything you experience, every second counted, every birthday celebrated, relies on clever but flawed tricks your neurons play to keep you alive. Physics proves time isn't a flow, it is a measurement, and the true nature of what we call now is about to overturn everything you thought you knew. Are you ready to discover just how deep this rabbit hole goes? Try this. Count to 60 seconds in your head right now. Some people hear an inner voice ticking off numbers steady as a metronome. Others see flashes like a ruler sliding forward or a tape stretching across their mind. Here is where it gets strange. If you count with that inner voice, try reading a paragraph at the same time. The words jam together, the count slips, or the meaning vanishes. But if your brain counts visually, you can read, talk, and keep perfect time. It is like two separate machines running side by side, each with its own rules. Neuroscientists have mapped this split. The verbal counter uses the brain's phonological loop, the same circuit that handles speech and reading. Overload it, and the whole system stutters. Visual counters rely on the brain's spatial sketchpad, drawing silent timelines that do not interfere with language at all. This is not just a party trick. It proves your sense of time is a patchwork built from whatever tools your brain has handy. You are not measuring reality, you are running a survival program. If you want to see reality without the filter your brain puts on it, subscribe now. The real story of time is about to get much, much weirder. Physics doesn't ask what time feels like. Physics asks how to measure it. Time in science is not a feeling or a flow. It is a label, a way to keep track of change. The only reason you can mark a second at all is because something happens, a process repeats, a change you can count. That is why the official second is not based on heartbeats or the swing of a grandfather clock. It is defined by the cesium-133 atom. In 1967, the world agreed. 1 second is the time it takes for the cesium atom to vibrate exactly 9,192,631,770 times. That is it. Every clock, every stopwatch, every calendar is just a tool for counting these changes. If nothing in the universe moved, ticked, or changed, not a single atom wiggling, then time would have no meaning at all. No changes, no time. You cannot separate time from the physical stuff of the universe. It is not a cosmic container waiting to be filled. It is the bookkeeping of change, nothing more. Even aging is not a product of time passing. It is the result of chemical reactions, DNA copying errors, and entropy at work. Time is just the ruler we use to measure how quickly those changes happen. The universe does not care about your sense of before and after. It just keeps changing, and we keep counting. Every object in the universe, including you, is always moving through space-time at a fixed speed, the speed of light. But that motion is split between space and time depending on what you are doing. When you are sitting still, you are rushing headlong through time itself at the fastest possible rate, 1 second per second. The moment you start moving through space, even a little, some of your motion budget shifts away from time and into space. That is not just a poetic idea, it is hard math. The Lorentz factor, often called gamma, tells you exactly how much your clock slows down as you pick up speed. At half the speed of light, gamma is about 1.15. That means your seconds stretch out, each one lasts 1.15 times longer than for someone at rest. At 90% of light speed, gamma jumps to 2.29. Your clock ticks more than twice as slow. But for a photon, the ultimate speedster, time stands completely still. From its perspective, a photon is emitted and absorbed in the same instant. No aging, no waiting, just a straight shot across the universe. This is not just theory. Every GPS satellite in orbit carries a clock that ticks differently than clocks on the ground. Without corrections for both their speed and weaker gravity, GPS would drift by about 38 microseconds every day. That tiny error would add up to a 10-kilometer mistake in your location within 24 hours. The math of relativity is not science fiction. It is the reason your phone knows where you are. The deeper you go, the stranger it gets. Subscribe if you are ready to see how deep this rabbit hole goes. Crack an egg onto a plate and you witness something that feels irreversible. The shell shatters, yolk and white spill out, and there is no practical way to piece it back together. But why is it so easy to break an egg and so impossible to unbreak one? The answer is not hidden in the laws of physics. They work just as well backward as forward. If you filmed a planet orbiting a star and played it in reverse, nothing would look out of place. But play a video of a shattered egg reassembling itself and it looks absurd. The difference comes down to probability, not some mysterious force pushing time forward. In physics, every arrangement of the egg, whole or broken, is called a microstate. A whole egg is special because there are only a handful of ways for all its molecules to be organized just so. But break it, and the pieces can scatter in billions of combinations. There are vastly more ways for an egg to be messy than for it to be neat. Boltzmann called this entropy, the measure of how many microstates fit a given description. As time passes, systems naturally move from rare ordered states to common disordered ones, simply because there are so many more ways to be disordered. That is why you never see an egg unscramble itself. It is not forbidden, just outrageously unlikely. What you feel as the flow of time is really your brain keeping score as the universe shuffles toward higher entropy, one broken egg at a time. Two lightning bolts strike at opposite ends of a train track. For someone standing on the platform, the flashes seem to happen at the same instant, perfectly simultaneous. But a passenger riding the train sees one flash before the other. Both observers are right, even though they disagree on the order of events. That is not a trick or a misunderstanding. It is a direct result of how motion warps the way time slices through the universe. The faster you move, the more your version of now tilts away from everyone else's. There is no single universal present. Your now is just a slice through space-time, and someone else's slice can cut through a completely different set of events. Imagine holding a film reel in your hands. Each frame, your first birthday, breakfast this morning, the last dinosaur, exists at a fixed spot along the ribbon. In physics, space-time forms a four-dimensional block where every event, past and future, is part of the same grand structure. The story unfolds for you one moment at a time, but the reel itself is already complete. Your consciousness is the projector, lighting up frame after frame, but the whole sequence is there, start to finish. This view, inspired by relativity, is not a mystical claim. It is a way to describe how the math treats every event as equally real, no matter where it sits on the timeline. The deeper you look, the less time feels like a river and more like a landscape. This changes everything about how you see your own existence. Subscribe to keep questioning reality with us. Wind the universe backward in your mind. Galaxies collapse, stars shrink, atoms crowd together, and every clock, no matter how perfect, ticks faster and faster until it simply stops. At the very beginning, the equations of physics themselves break down. The rules we use to measure time, to mark before and after, no longer apply. Asking what happened before the Big Bang is like standing at the North Pole and asking which way is north. The question sounds reasonable, but it has no answer. There is nothing beyond that point. Time itself may have started at the first tick, with no before to speak of. Our urge for a backstory meets the edge of what science can describe. Today, every GPS signal and atomic clock proves time is not a river. It is a dimension you help define with every observation. As science keeps exposing reality's wildest illusions, the only limit is how far you are willing to question your own mind. So, how strange are you ready to get?